Mark Dice's videos, some of them had 5 million views apiece. In fact, more. And his videos were getting bigger and bigger each time, just like ours are. What did Google do? They took down both his channels 2 days ago. Both his channels. And they did it with these super mods that the government has gotten them to approve. And it was only because I had contacts. I don't like to talk about this, but there are good people inside YouTube and Google that I was able to put Dice in contact with senior people who saw that it was basically fake moderation to restore his channel 30 minutes ago. And I don't like to talk about our connections and things, folks, but it's a war to bring you this radio show. It is a war to bring you news articles. It is a war to bring you these videos. It is a war. And there are good people in the FBI, good people in your local school, good people in the police department, good people at the local corporation, good people in Google, good people in Microsoft. And it's a war, folks, with different infiltrators from both sides, because clearly Mark Dice's videos did not cause any, violation of rules. He goes out and interviews real people in public, like jaywalking Jay Leno, and says, should we put all Republicans in death camps? 90+% of the Californians say, yes, I want to kill them, and sign the form. And in many cases, he even blurs their faces out, even though it's in public. It's like the news can walk up to you and talk to you. They had a concerted effort to take his channels down. They're trying to take our channels down that have over 500 million views, all of them together, not counting other channels that have hundreds of millions of views. I have films on YouTube with 14 million views, 15 million views, 10 million views, 8 million views. They cannot deal with us, folks. We are absolutely just hurting them badly just in that venue. Mark Dice, media critic, who's been on Fox News, CNN many times. He's been very successful, C-SPAN, best-selling author, who's been critical of me some in the past. Why would I then play his videos on air? Why would I promote him? Because he does a good job on the street, and he's not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's fighting the New World Order. And that's the big enemy that's trying to take my guns, that's saying my kids belong to them, that wants to exempt mega corporations from taxes but raise my taxes to give them banker bailout money. That's my enemy. And so Dice's site, his YouTube channels with, 50, 60-something million views or more. I know that's conservative. I think one of the channels had that. We have screenshots of it. Why would I get on the phone and give him emails to high-level people inside YouTube just so they could review that some of their master moderators were censoring the First Amendment, and that they better review it and understand that clearly he didn't violate their terms of service, and that they want a big controversy on their hands? Why would I do that for somebody, some other media person, somebody who's been critical of me? Because, folks, I'm for the First Amendment. And I know the rules of YouTube, and I know the rules of how it's a public commons, and I know how they're shutting down libertarians and conservatives and patriots and Christians everywhere. And I know how thousands of conservatives, libertarians, the New York Times reports, have to meet in secret in Los Angeles because they'll be blackballed if they discover that they're not Democrats. That is tyranny. That's beyond McCarthyism. And I'm against McCarthyism in the manifestation of McCarthy, and I'm against McCarthyism squared under the Democrats. I stand with the First Amendment, because if we don't stand together, we will hang separate. All of this is happening. All of this is going on right now, and it's a very serious situation when they just announced last week that they were going to give government, this is on Infowars.com, an article by Paul Watson, they were going to give government certified supermods, moderators, the power to just go through the Google YouTube system and shut down sites for, quote, community guidelines violations. No cussing, no profanity, no nakedness, no nothing. The socialists find it not right to show that Democratic constituents in Austin, Texas, and Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles, California, 90+% say kill all conservatives, take their guns, or put them in death camps. Because we're going to defeat them if we just show what scum they are. I've gone to show the Federal Reserve in San Antonio, private Federal Reserve, and protested them raising our taxes through the income tax that they're paid. And they had my video and my site taken down till I threatened to sue them, and I got into a whole court process and then got the connections into the higher levels so that I wouldn't have to get into lawsuits with them anymore. That's how that happened, because they explained to me there's super mods in government, corporations, you name it, that are doing this. So I had to be a super mod and go above their head. I haven't even told Mark this yet. I gave him an email to one of the head people to be able to even get them to review it so his site would come back. Most people don't get that. It's only because Mark's gotten big enough, as Jim Garrison, the guy that exposed the Kennedy assassination, said. He said, I'm still alive because I'm in the sunshine, because I am a big mouth. It's when you keep your mouth shut, the wolves take over. It's when you don't speak out against censorship or bullying, you get dominated. So we're going to have Mark with us 15 minutes in the next hour, and we're going to get some comments from David Knight at the InfoWars studio coming up. But Mark, a big backlash helped you get back up there. We had some contacts in there as well to get it immediately looked at this weekend. But again, people say, so what if some guy with 60, 70 million views, whatever it was, got shut down? Why do I care? You know, I'm a Democrat. I saw him celebrating you were shut down. Don't these idiots get it? I mean, if they were trying to shut down Michael Moore, I would defend him. Don't they have any common sense, Mark?
They don't. And as you saw in some of my videos, the petition videos, when people support a particular president or an ideology, they will literally sign their name, birth date, and a signature to eliminate the rights of the opposing party. So short-sighted that they don't understand. They literally just can't even think more than 5 minutes into the future about what may happen, what will happen once the coin is flipped, once an opposing political party is in power. And thank you very much for helping me get this channel back. And you've articulated this situation so well.
Well, listen, don't thank me, Mark. We're in a war. They're going to get our guns. They say our kids belong to them. We are soldiers in full-level combat. It's a pleasure on Saturday morning to be on the phone. It's a pleasure to be fighting. This is a war. We're going to kick their ass.
And, you know, and if we didn't, this is a constant battle. And if we didn't put up this resistance, by this point next year, just virtually anybody that was speaking out, you use the word bossy. You say that somebody's bossy. If you just criticize
the First Lady says, don't use the word bossy. I say I don't like it. That pig wants to control our speech. She's a book-burning witch. You've just gone through censorship and come to the other side because you were big enough to have a support base and because we had some contacts. I predict you would have gotten your channel back already. You know, I talked to you today, and, of course, it went through and did happen. But it would have been a week or so before it went up to the right channels. But for most people that aren't big like you are, you don't have, you know, the connections. Most people just get censored, and there is an intensifying censorship where Navy SEALs put out memes about Benghazi on their official Navy SEAL Facebook, and they get shut down. Or you criticize Obamacare, you get shut down on Facebook or Reddit. You know, these people are censoring and lying about it, and they're dirtbags. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have such a big and dedicated following that they applied a 24-hour pressure on YouTube, and I was trending on Facebook, and to have you watching my back as well. But if some smaller media organization or an independent guy were to have this happen to him, they'd probably have little recourse. And it's incredible, the mysterious Orwellian policies of YouTube. You know, they list, obviously, if you have animal abuse, if somebody's making bombs, doing drugs online, those are clear terms of service violations.
Gambling.
But they also put in there that they just reserve the right to remove your video for any reason. And unless you're an establishment insider, like Robin Thicke, who was the guy that Miley Virus was grinding with during her Illuminati-themed video music award performance. You know, he puts out a music video with a bunch of women topless, which is basically porn. It gets flagged by the YouTube community, but because he's an establishment insider, they put the video back up. A bunch of porn on YouTube, but
yeah, let's be clear. You're a media critic with a media degree who's been successful for a decade all over the country. They are censoring a critic they don't like who follows all the rules. That is dangerous.